But we all need to remember that a lot of the reason people are skeptical is this is almost the opposite of what President Trump promised on the campaign trail and when he first put this tax plan forward. He promised it would be focused on the middle class, that there would be a corporate reduction and a wealthy reduction at the top end of the brackets, but he said this will be focused on the middle class. That is not the case.
It is.
Do you remember?
Absolutely true.
Do you remember that? Well, it is not true because the middle class tax cuts expire and the corporate tax cuts don't expire. So just in terms of that one fact, it seems like we care more about the corporate rate. Let me finish before you jump in, please. And the other problem is the more people learn about the bill, the less they like it.
Really, like Obamacare. The more
why do you keep comparing to Obamacare? That is no part of this conversation.
That's a perfect.
We're talking about a tax bill.
No, it's a,
do you
no,
remember
it's a
when
perfect
Paul
segue.
Ryan stood up with that postcard and said we're all going to be able to do our taxes on this? The tax code has not been simplified. That promise is way out.
I will say that they have not done exactly what they thought they would do.
Okay,
Sandra,
great.
you brought up multiple times that this is a 3% growth tax bill when they talked about 6 or 7% growth. That is true. We're not going to be able to do our taxes on a postcard. However, when you look at across the board the numbers, 80% of the middle class is going to see a tax cut. For a family of four, $70,000 a year coming into the household, that's $2,000 a year that they can use towards what they think is best. They are going to get a tax cut.
Doom and gloom is what's always predicted by the left. When Trump got elected, the economy was going to crowbar. The tax bill, now it's not going to affect everybody. The Barack Obama administration promised that we were going to have our lower payments for Obamacare. We're going to keep our doctors, et cetera. It was nonsense. So Trump doesn't have to live up to 100% of the promises that he made. What he needs to live up to is the fact that he's getting it done.
I judge politicians against their promises, and I think all voters should.
But one of the things that nobody ever talks about when they want to compare the journey with tax bill versus Obamacare in the beginning, remember how long it took to just get the sign-up website to work? But it was a disaster in the and even the White House was admitting at that point, this is a disaster we rolled out on our hands. We got to fix this. People couldn't even sign up. But I did want to say this because I want to press in and make sure that the messaging is clear here. People have said in surveys that they are against this bill. 55% in a recent CNN Wall Street Journal poll, I believe.
Wall Street Journal. Wall Street Journal. Wall Street Journal.
Yeah, and I mean, but they both have looked, and other people have looked at this along the way too. But I understand what you're saying, too. It comes down to how the questions are asked and when. And so that's why I said your answer of let's wait and see what happens, then let's do some immediate polling. Because some people do look at the polling.
But it was Katie's point earlier that, you can, all the things that these guys are talking about in terms of what D.C. wants. You go to the street and ask somebody, do you want your taxes lowered? Yes. Is it going to impact?
And I get that. But, Harris, I think an important point to make, and this is what Paul Ryan was saying before, are they against the tax bill and the actual contents of it? Are they against what they have been fed as far as the information that has been put out to them? Are they against the actual
I don't know what they watch, but I can.
Bill?
Well, maybe we should have had a congressional hearing. There were 0 congressional hearings held on a bill that will impact every American. I think that's malpractice.
Hearings are a waste of time.
Okay. Exactly. Spoken like a true bureaucrat.
That was the opposite people said about Obamacare.
It is on the day that they're voting,
it's a conversation everybody's having at home as well, because a lot of people don't understand it, and that's been a flaw of Republicans, Kevin. They haven't sold this thing like they could.